Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're taking a highly structured, deep dive into some mind-bending geographical secrets that are honestly going to completely shatter your reality. If you think you've got a pretty solid grasp on how our planet works, well, prepare to have your assumptions turned entirely upside down. We're going to look at facts so unbelievable and so deeply strange that you'll question the very ground you're standing on. Okay, let's kick things off with a massive question. Is there really a river out there that literally cooks things alive? Imagine being deep in the Peruvian Amazon and stumbling across the Shane Tempishka. For a really long time, scientists thought a boiling river was just a local myth. But no, it is very real. It's a 4-mile-long stretch of water reaching up to 200 degrees Fahrenheit. That is basically a giant natural sous vide, hot enough to instantly cook any animal unlucky enough to fall in. But here's the most baffling part. There isn't a single volcano within 400 miles of this place. It's fueled entirely by deep geothermal springs, which just goes to show that the earth beneath our feet is way more volatile than we realize. Because our planet is full of this kind of chaos, we've organized the wildest facts into 5 key areas for this explainer. 1. Hidden worlds beneath us. 2. Earth's most extreme elements. 3. Mind-bending natural illusions. 4. Bizarre human geography. And 5. Insane matters of scale. All right, Section 1. Hidden worlds beneath us. Let's discover what's lying just out of sight. Have you ever heard of Zealandia? It's a newly recognized massive continent that has literally been hiding in plain sight. Zealandia is twice the size of India, yet a staggering 94% of its landmass is entirely submerged beneath the Pacific Ocean. Only about 6% actually peaks above the waves, which is what we know today as New Zealand and New Caledonia. This absolute behemoth broke off from Australia around 85 million years ago and just slowly sank. Wildly enough, it wasn't even officially recognized by scientists as a continent until 2017. So, moving from the ocean depths to solid ground, it really begs a fascinating question about human exploration. I mean, if entire continents can hide underwater, how far down into the solid Earth have humans actually managed to dig? Well, the answer is exactly 12,262 meters. That's the depth of the Kola super deep borehole in Russia. To put that into perspective for you, it plunges deeper into the dirt than the highest mountains reach up into the sky. So why did they stop digging? The environment just became completely unmanageable. Down at that incredible depth, temperatures hit a melting 180 degrees Celsius, which is about 356 degrees Fahrenheit. The rocks literally started acting like hot plastic, making any further drilling completely impossible. Moving right along to Section 2, Earth's most extreme elements. Surviving the planet's harshest conditions. Earth's extremes are almost unbelievable. Take Lake Maracaibo in Venezuela, for example. When trade winds hit the Andes Mountains there, it creates a never-ending thunderstorm, resulting in 28 lightning flashes per minute. It's so consistent, sailors have historically used the lightning as a natural lighthouse for navigation. Then, jumping to the complete opposite end of the spectrum, we have Oymyakon of Russia. This is the coldest permanently inhabited place on Earth. Temperatures regularly plummet to negative 60 degrees Celsius. People there literally have to leave their car engines running constantly so they don't freeze solid into blocks of ice. And finally, you've got the Darvaza gas crater in Turkmenistan, famously known as the door to hell. The crazy thing is, this isn't even fully natural. Back in 1971, Soviet engineers accidentally created a 70-meter-wide gas leak. They set it on fire, figuring it would just burn out in a few days. Well, over 50 years later, it is still blazing. Now for Section 3, Mind-Bending Natural Illusions. This is where geography plays tricks on your eyes. Nature has managed to build an impossible, geographical Russian nesting doll in the Philippines, all formed by thousands of years of volcanic eruptions. Okay, follow me on this one. We start on Luzon Island. On that island is Taal Lake. Inside that lake is Taal Volcano Island. Inside that island is Crater Lake. And sitting inside Crater Lake is a tiny island called Vulcan Point. It completely defies logic. An island within a lake on an island within a lake on an island. You just can't make this stuff up. And natural forces completely trick our senses in other ways too. Up in New Brunswick, Magnetic Hill is this perfect optical illusion where the landscape makes a downhill slope look exactly like an uphill climb. Put your car in neutral and it appears to magically roll upwards. Down in Antarctica, Blood Falls looks like a bleeding glacier, but it's actually trapped ancient iron-rich water suddenly hitting oxygen and rusting. In Ireland and the Faroe Islands, winds that whip past 100 kilometers an hour actually blast coastal waterfalls backwards into the sky, totally defying gravity. And over in Mauritius, ocean currents dragging sand and silt down a steep drop-off create the breathtaking illusion of a massive waterfall right underneath the ocean's surface.
Which brings us to Section 4, Bizarre Human Geography, How We Adapt to a Strange Planet.
Picture the intense isolation of an Alaskan winter. Up in the town of Whittier, the weather gets so incredibly harsh that almost the entire population of 200 people lives inside one single 14-story structure. It was originally built as a military barracks during World War II, but today it functions as a vertical city. Residents can go weeks without ever stepping outside because their school, post office, grocery store, church, and medical clinic are all housed under that one roof. It's fascinating how bizarrely we carve up the planet. Take Minoe, Nebraska. The population there is exactly one, Elsie Eiler. She's the mayor, she grants her own liquor license as the town's bartender, and she runs the library. Literally a one-woman government. Or look at the Four Corners Monument, surveyed way back in 1868. You can stand there and put a hand or foot in Arizona, Colorado, New Mexico, and Utah at the exact same time. Zooming out, the border between Sweden and Norway is marked by a massive, 2,000-kilometer cleared strip of forest. It serves as a giant fire break and is entirely visible from space. And then there's Istanbul, a city so uniquely positioned over the Bosphorus Strait that thousands of people casually commute between Europe and Asia every single day just to go to work. But where do all these humans actually live? Well, despite the sheer vastness of the Earth, the ultimate population squeeze means a staggering 90% of the global population, that is roughly 6.5 billion people, live in the Northern Hemisphere. Because of larger land masses and more temperate, livable climates, almost all of humanity is packed tightly north of the equator. Finally, let's wrap up with Section 5, Insane Matters of Scale, Rethinking Size on a Planetary Level. To put human borders into perspective, just think about the unfathomable size of Russia. Spanning 11 time zones, Russia covers 17 million square kilometers. To help you really grasp that, the total surface area of the dwarf planet Pluto is 16.6 million square kilometers. You could literally unfold the entire surface of Pluto, place it flat onto Russia, and you would still have leftover land. That is mind-boggling. And check out this incredible paradox right here in North America. California, just a single U.S. state, has a population of 39 million people packed into its borders. Canada, which is the second largest country on the entire planet by landmass, has a population of roughly 40 million. It completely defies our basic assumptions about the relationship between vast landmass and population density. Just to really hammer home these immense planetary proportions before we go, the taiga is a relatively unknown boreal forest spanning 17 million square kilometers across Russia, Canada, and Scandinavia. And get this, it single-handedly produces 30% of Earth's oxygen. Meanwhile, the Great Barrier Reef is a living structure so immense, stretching 2,300 kilometers, that it's visible from space. How about Australia? It's roughly 4,000 kilometers wide, making the country mathematically wider than the moon's entire diameter. And finally, China. It covers 3.7 million square miles, naturally spanning 5 different geographical time zones, yet the entire sprawling nation operates on one single time zone. This means in the far west, the sun doesn't rise until hours after it does in Beijing. Well, we've certainly reorganized some absolute planetary chaos into clarity today. From a lost continent named Zealandia, to an Amazonian river that literally boils its victims, to crazy optical illusions that make water flow upward, this explainer is truly just the beginning. It really makes you wonder, as you go about your perfectly normal day, what other completely mind-bending, impossible realities is our planet still keeping secret, right beneath your feet? Keep questioning the world around you